Botswana citizens go to the polls to elect a new president today. It is said to be the most hotly contested elections since the country gained independence in 1965. The Botswana Democratic Party has comfortably won all 11 elections since then. But it faces a stronger battle this year. The party's been losing popularity amid high unemployment and growing inequality. The former president, Ian Khama, is also backing a coalition led by Dumo Boko. Khama fell out with the current president, Mokgweetsi Masisi, over cabinet positions. Africa political analyst Aisha Kaji joins us now to discuss the election. Good morning to you, Aisha. Obviously, every election is incredibly important. What's up for grabs today?
Well, really, I think the heart and soul of Botswana, which has traditionally lain with the BDP, Mr. Khama's former party, which is now, as you've said, divided. Mr. Khama's formed his own party and is also backing the opposition coalition, United Democratic Coalition, of Mr. Boko. So I think for the first time there's a real sense that there's a possibility in Botswana that there'll be a transfer of power to someone other than what has been the ruling party since 1966. But more than that, there is a growing dissatisfaction, I think, amongst Botswana themselves that much of the wealth of the country goes outside the country, that many of the jobs in spheres such as construction and retail go to what they regard as incomers, people who are non-Botswana, people such as the Chinese and the Asian immigrants. So there is a sense that Botswana are now demanding that the high levels of inequality between the very rich and the very poor in Botswana, even though those very poor are not as poor as perhaps elsewhere in the region, that those high levels of inequality now need to be addressed.
I mean, because the country really, it's looking at inequality, discrimination, extreme poverty in those rural areas. They've also got a high HIV/AIDS rate. I mean, even though we're looking at a sort of reinvigorated opposition, it still is under the same if you've got Khama playing in there.
Yes, if you've got Ian Khama playing in there, there is an element of the old, there is an element of the same, but there is also hope for change, and I think that is what is driving many young people and people in urban areas as well to vote for the UDC and its partners, who in this case would include Mr. Khama, but not necessarily bring him in as a party leader or as a coalition leader.
I mean, how politicized is the country? It's always known as a stable one. I mean, does that play against people there taking up their right to question and demand more?
Voters will continue to go with the BDP largely because they have trust in it. Certainly those who have accumulated wealth as a result of the BDP's stable and conservative governance over the last 50, 60 years will continue to go with it. But there is a hunger for change. And the BDP itself, certainly in recent years, you've probably seen Mr. Khama's criticisms of his successor, has gone in directions that many people are uncomfortable with. For example, clamp down on the media and journalists. Now, some will say that this happened during Mr. Khama's reign as well, which is true. But, you know, there is an example to the east of Botswana, i.e. Zimbabwe, which hold many Botswana captive, I think, mentally and emotionally, and make them wary of authoritarian government, make them wary of government that promises to be in favor of the people and then proves that it isn't. Of course, there are also issues of the diamond wealth, and there are issues surrounding elephants as well in Botswana that may play into these elections.
Yes, they're really suffering, aren't they, the elephants there. Aisha Kaji, thank you very much for talking to us.